Hey, Ron, he's here.
On the show.
Yes, that's it, man. You know, did you see the survey? I sent you the picture.
Which
They,
picture?
against all the odds, you were here.
I'm one of those elusive type of characters.
That's it. I did a survey on the stories, and then asking if you would come or not. So 80 something like 89% of the people said that you wouldn't turn up.
89%. You guys better be my friends.
But they all here though, huh? They all here to see you.
I'm going to get a lot of abuse in the comments. Norvla's already said, make me a sandwich. Been talking back in the kitchen already, so yeah. And it's what, 1 minute into it.
Man, how are you doing? You all right, Red?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling out in the nice weather that we have. So nothing exciting going on, apart from eating lots of food. Richard just called me a mug, funny enough. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Yes.
Have you been at all?
No, I've just been like in the garden and doing some little runs, but not much.
Yeah.
They're talking about your hair already.
I don't mind it.
That's it, man. It's looking good. I think it's the best lockdown haircut I saw so far.
Yeah, and my beard as well. I got it trimmed by Norvla's brother. So yeah, it's looking very, very on trim. Actually, better than what my barber would normally do. So
that's it. Can you see? Yeah. I'm just like with the lockdown haircut, like everybody just shaving. That's it. Easy. You got like a nice trim.
Yeah, I'll always go to the next level in terms of beard perfection anyway. So
yeah,
money to keep this beard maintained, mate. It's a lot of money.
It's important, isn't it? If you want to let it grow, you have to look after it.
Well, at one point, I almost bleached it actually because it was quite wild, and I bleached it once before, and I was hoping to get it blonde the last time I did it, but it just went really ginger in patches because obviously it's a lot thicker in some places.
Yes.
So, yeah, it got really patchy and gingery, so I was trying to do that again.
Yeah, it's a good time now to try.
Very good time. I'm just getting bored of just being inside, so I need to excite me.
That's it, man. And you had a couple of trips to Ireland as well because of your girlfriend.
Mum fortunately passed away, so we went to I went to Ireland, so I was there for about 1.5 weeks. Then I came back. Then I was back in Wales for about 5 days with my parents who live down there. And then I came back up here again, so back in London again.
That's it, man. Yeah. And how are your parents? Are they all right?
Yeah, they're good. Just chilling out. Well, my dad's probably been in quarantine for like 2 years anyway, so it doesn't bother him. There's no difference with him. My mum's just out. My brother and sister were around as well, so yeah, it was pretty.
Oh man, good man. So tell us a little bit about your martial arts
My
journey.
martial arts. What do you want to know? There's so many different stories.
Yeah, how did it start? How did it start? When did you start doing martial arts, even?
Anything before.
When did you start doing martial arts? Which one was the first one you did?
Passing Ramadan, yeah, of course I passed in Ramadan, Rich. Always come first. I did karate when I was 12 or 13. And I think my dad really wanted me to do something because I was really, really fat as a kid. I'm still fat now. In before Ramon, Jake, Richard Rainsford, Rita, Ricardo even say a comment about me being fat anyways. So, I'm still fat. I was even fatter as a kid. My dad wanted me to do something apart from eating pizzas every day. So yeah, started doing karate, did karate for about 10, 11 years. And then I got really bored of it. It wasn't for me, right? So then I left that. And then when I moved to London, I was working with Rich. And Rich, when I say Rich Stevens, he was doing some weird form of jiu-jitsu called jitsu. I'm sure he would never tell anyone. I used to hear all his lame stories of jitsu, and he kept going on about his amazing instructor who'd always go to sleep for 1 hour a day. I was like, what the fuck is this guy on about? Like, then one day Rich decided to quit it, and then he started doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And then he kept telling me, "Oh, you need to come down. You need to come down to Epsom to train." I was like, "Fuck's sake! Like, it's not going to be another weird bunch." So I decided to come down once. What do I see when I turn up? I think it was the Rainbow Leisure Centre. I see an even weirder bunch than Rick Bride from his Jitsu days. So like there's Ricardo, he's really weird. His son, what's his son? Ricardo's son called? He's got like weird hair on top of his head. Actually, Ramon. That's his name, Ramon. Ramon's weird. Like everyone's so. But anyway, so I kept coming down, and I live in Clapham, so it's about an hour or so drive for me to come. And I just loved it. It's like, you know, really good family vibes. Didn't want to train anywhere else, even though there's probably clubs more locally to me. So yeah, that's my jiu-jitsu, well, my martial arts career really, and I haven't stopped coming down to Nova FORÇA since I started. Well, apart from this lockdown.
And who were the weirdo ones that were there when you went first time?
Ricardo, Richard, Charge, Tan, Ramon, Nor, Jacob. I'm not joking. No, there were the real weirdos. Like there's some, like around that time, we had some odd characters. I wouldn't call them weirdos, but odd characters. But you know, they've seemed to have left now, and you know, we've got a better bunch of people, and you know, it's the better bunch. It's easier to get on with people than it used to be before, because there used to be, you know, a few different weird personalities around the place, and you know, it's a lot easier to get on with people nowadays, I feel.
They all love you as well, isn't it, Ibrahim? The one that remain, they are the ones that they're your biggest fans.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure everyone will be saying I'm the weirdo or I'm the odd one. So as long as I don't get strange or I don't get compared to the likes of Tony Ferguson, I'm happy.
You know, my second lesson at Nova FORÇA was the grading. When I went for the second time, was the grading.
Yeah.
And then Ricardo said, oh, if you want just to watch it, so to see the grade, how it is. And then I was amazed how was the ovation when it was your turn to get, when he calls you, everybody was like, ah!
I can't even remember them. I was probably a little bit nervous myself, so people were heckling me more than anything.
That's it. Everybody went crazy, like, bah, 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 hey. Oh, these guys, they really like him.
So I've been training for. I never really asked you, so.
Yeah, man. Oh, and who was the one that started, apart of Richard, who was the one that started with you, that was like training with you?
What started around
like the same level as you all the time? Like,
I don't know. I think the only person I could think of that started around the same time was probably Andrew Charge, who he hasn't trained as much, so I'm not sure if you've come across him as much, but he's one of the guys I think I've started around the same time. It's hard to remember, like, because in those early days, you know, just trying to get on with people rather than compare yourself. So I was just trying to get used to jiu-jitsu rather than figuring out who started around the same time as me. But you know, people start at different times. People learn quicker. People adapt slower. You know, it's all in the love of jiu-jitsu and how you apply yourself to jiu-jitsu in its own right. So, yeah, he's the only person I knew that started around the same time as me.
yeah, man. And competitions. Tell us a little bit about your competition background.
So many embarrassing stories. So many stories. So I think I competed mostly at white belt more than anything. Until I hit my back, and then I didn't compete as much at blue belt. But at white belt, probably entered I probably medaled a fair few times, but it took me a while to medal. There was one competition where I accidentally wrote my club name down as my actual name. So it was the English Open, and they're calling people out who are late for turning up to the mat, and all I hear was Ibra Ahmed from Ibra Ahmed BJJ. Can you turn up to the mat too? And I was like, what? And like, yeah, Ibra Ahmed from Ibra Ahmed BJJ. So I was like, I put my name down as my club. But luckily during that competition I had silver, so I've got a better record under my club name than I do under Nova FORÇA, really. that shows something, right? The name has a speech behind it.
That's it. Gives you like the authority of it.
Yeah, but I mostly compete. I think my first competition I competed at medium heavy and then heavyweight most of the time. Then is it light heavyweight? No, super heavyweight. Then eventually we went up to ultra heavyweight because I got fat again. And I was eating a lot. I think that's where I did a little bit better than I did at any other weight categories. So I picked up a few bronzes, some silvers, but never anything as pretty as the gold medal. Competed a few times at blue belt. First competition, got absolutely squashed at ultra heavyweight. Before Richard Stevens mentions the size of the guy, I literally demolished. I got taken down. I've got side control. I got beaten up pretty much. The guy, I think he was wrestling. Yeah, I came from a wrestling background, and I think he probably fought on Fusion a few times, but yeah, it was a bit weird. So I lost some weight. I think I competed at super heavyweight or heavyweight. The next time, I think I didn't medal in that competition, but the one after that, the Surrey Open, I had, well, it was only 3 people in my category, so I got into the final based on just that alone, and I won that, which was straightforward, almost breaking a guy's arm because he wouldn't tap out. But one of my funniest stories, I guess, is the one at white belt where I was competing, and I was up against a guy called Mohammed Adouin or something, and I was like, I can't see another brown guy at this competition. So I was looking out, and then I think I was next to Richard Stevens, and some guy taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Are you IBRAR?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm IBRAR." He goes, "Oh, I'm Mohammed. Salam alaikum," and all this. I was like, "Fuck you! You don't look like a Mohammed. You're white." And then he starts telling me a story how he's like a Muslim. That's it, Jamaluddin. That's it. Tan, well remembered. And he keeps going. He keeps talking to me about his life as a Muslim convert. And Richard Stevens is pretty much standing next to me at this point, and he just completely ignores Richard, I guess, because he's just a typical white guy, a non-believer, a kuffar bastard, as they call them. So anyway, I competed against a guy, I beat him, got to the final, got absolutely raped by some guy from Dagestan or Russia, somewhere, who happened to be a Muslim as well. And we're all on the podium, and this ginger guy, this ginger Muslim goes, "Let's all put our fingers up to show, you know, our truth to Allah." I was like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it whatsoever." So anyway, I posted a picture on Facebook of me podium, being on the podium, and I think it was Ben Kurd, I think it was, who found a screenshot of the guy from the Daily Mail, and pretty much this guy being linked to being a Islamic extremist.
Wow.
He was the ginger jihadi. And what I didn't realize is that I took the guy's number because I took photos on my phone. And so I sent him all these photos, but what I didn't realize afterwards is that he started adding me into all these weird like Islamic groups on WhatsApp. And I was like, yeah, I hope nothing comes of this, because I said like 1 or 2 initial comments like, "Oh, hi guys, how's it going?" Put the conversation on mute. And then a week later I left. Because I was like, the last thing I want to be doing is being linked to some guy who I competed against, happened to be
Extreme, yeah.
Happened to be an extremist. So yeah, that's another funny story of my jiu-jitsu competitions. But blue belt, I haven't competed as much. Like I started training. Blue belt I hadn't competed as much. I started training more on Saturdays. I started to enjoy jiu-jitsu more just for the training, rather than the competitions. Actually, my last competition at blue belt was in Dublin, where I competed at super heavyweight, I think it was. My guy again, the semi-final didn't show up, got to the final, hadn't competed in ages. I barely did anything, lost by an advantage, I believed. And I was absolutely knackered afterwards. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. I got caught in aUra, I escaped, got into the guy's half guard, got stuck in his half guard for a while. Jake was giving me instructions in terms of what to do, and I put my finger up at Jake. Everyone uses me for now, so yeah, it's not my finest moment, but it was a good fight. It was fairly technical. I just got knackered afterwards. So yeah, I got silver in that by default technically, but yeah, I've been enjoying training on Saturdays, helping out with the kids classes, you know, which has helped my learning anyway. So, you know, I'm happy with just doing that and then doing the odd competition here and there where there's a bigger crowd from Nova FORÇA competing. So I'm just content with it, really.
That's cool, man. And how is teaching the kids? How are you doing with that? Are you enjoying it?
It's good when I'm in the background and like Ricardo or Ramon are like, you know, running the classes. But then unfortunately neither Ricardo, Ramon or anyone else could actually do one of the classes, probably like a month before lockdown, and I had to teach the younger kids class by myself I think Richard was there, and yeah, Richard couldn't really help out as much because he was being weird and looking after his little weird baby. But yeah, it was one of the most stressful things I've ever done, because it's not the kids that you're worried about mostly; it's mostly about the parents, because like all the parents are there watching, so it wouldn't be as hard if the parents had left. But I guess, like, you know, whenever there's Ricardo or Mom, they have an aura about themselves where the kids will instantly respect them. You know, they expect the most out of the kids as well, so the kids understand that. But when I was teaching, they were a bit, you know, they weren't as respective in terms of my authority. So, you know, I kind of lost the class a little bit. And then at around halfway through the session of the young kids class, one of the mums came up to me and said she wasn't having a good time. I was like, fine, if you're not having a good time, just go. So she was, but yeah, apart from that, I find the kids classes very rewarding, because you see kids learning techniques. You know, you can spend time with them, you know, correcting them. It's good to see their progression, because they learn a lot quicker than most of the adults do anyway. So it's good to spend time with them, because, you know, sooner or later, you know, in the next 5, 6, 7 years, they'll probably be training with like the older kids or then the adults. And then you can see them, you know, develop throughout their entire jiu-jitsu career. And it's the same with the older kids. The older kids, you can just abuse them in the sense that you can make them do loads of drills, loads of exercises, destroy them in the warm-up, make them do loads of drills, and then you train them in jiu-jitsu. And most of the time they complain, but nevertheless, you know, you always got to tell them that it's for their own development. So it's kind of good to see those guys learning well to the older kids' classes. But it's good. I enjoy it.
That's it, yeah. I work with kids as well, but I work with small groups, so I can imagine how tough it is to work like with a big group of kids.
Oh, mate, I used to do it when I was in when I used to teach karate. Well, when I trained and taught karate, I used to do it then. So I kind of understood like some of the ways in terms of grasping kids' attention, which is one of the hardest things. So like you've got to be really direct with them, show them a lot of energy. You can't be moping around trying to teach them, because once you do, you know, your energy reflects back onto them. So it's, you know, it's one of those things that you've got to bring energy to the room, and I'm sure you're aware of that as well. So
that's it, yeah. And also like because I smile too much and I am always playing, so it's hard to bring them back to the business, you know. So I always try to be like very restricted at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I stopped up a little bit, because if I start to smile, because I'm always laughing at the beginning, then by the end of the lesson, it's just become like a circus.
Yeah.
So I learned that with the time. But at the beginning, I was like, laughing. And then halfway through was like just no respect. So if you start like very restrict, and then as it goes, and then by the end, I feel like I can play more with them. So the last 5 minutes, but then they really take advantage of it.
Yeah, I know. It's good to see that though as well, especially when the kids learn some discipline. Because like you get some kids who come in and they're a bit wild, and within a few weeks, you know, they're very tame. You know, they're succeeding in jiu-jitsu. So you know, that's one of the best things to see out of those kids coming in.
That's it. And also like if they do like martial arts, if they do usually the kids that they go to do the sports is because they're very hyper already. So the quiet ones, they go to do computer, or they go to do something very quiet. They're not keen to do the sports. So these ones, they're very hyper already, like by default. So we need to really keep them busy, isn't it?
Yeah. And tell me, how's your competitions that you did quite recently?
It was very good, yeah. It wasn't, well, like, it was just 4 guys, so I managed to win. I lost my fights, actually. I lost both fights by points. But it was very good. So it's just...
Was that your first competition?
I did it before as a white belt.
Okay.
But that was a long time ago, like more than 9 years ago, something like that. So
The hardest thing is, it's not your first competition, it's taking a big break from competition, I found. Because you think you're used to it, but you're not. And then all of a sudden, like, you get that big adrenaline rush, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're almost panicking in a way. So that's the hardest thing. It's never your first competition. It's probably taking a break and coming back.
yeah, the excitement, isn't it? Just getting there and see everybody fighting, and then everybody's like, it becomes a bit, but it was very good. Like, as you said, with the big crowd of Nova FORÇA to support. Like Jake was shouting, and then I could hear him like saying things. So there was
Jake was shouting at me. I heard him once, and then he kept giving me, I couldn't hear him again because he was just wild and so loud.
Yeah, he was telling me left hand, right knee, da, da, da. I just could hear knee, hand, the right, left. I couldn't make it up. It was too much already. It
But
was very.
yeah, but me and Jake, we went to Lisbon a few years ago. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now, and we did the Europeans, which was a good experience. But like that is just completely different. If you think the atmosphere in some competitions is incredible, the Europeans is just wild. Because you got
Yeah,
like you put the matted area is like down below, and then all the seats are right above. So there's people sat all the way around, and it's just it's an incredible atmosphere. It's like
that's
if anything, it gives you more of like a it riles you up and like gets you going easily. So if you're not motivated, you're motivated once you walk into there.
that's it. And it's even harder to listen to anyone because there's so many people shouting, isn't it?
And the funny thing is that I think it was after my first fight. I won my first fight by points in the Europeans, and there was a free chair next to the mats. So I sat down. I was like, "Geez, like it was kind of weird. There's like a random chairs around here." And I was so hungry as well because I was a bit nervous all day. I was going to make wait. I hadn't eaten, and on the table there was a banana. So I was like, "Oh, Jesus! Like, no one sat at this table or this chair, so I'll just take the banana." I started eating it, and then all of a sudden, this guy comes over. Some like he's been like a black belt instructor or something with the student. He's like, "What are you doing? You sat at my table, and you're eating my banana." And I was like, "Oh my god! Like I did not expect this." But it was like one of those weird moments where he's like, you just competed. You had like one of the hardest 5 or 6 minutes of your life, and then a break, and then you're getting abused by someone for eating their banana. Oh yeah.
It was just looking like heaven. A chair, a banana.
Yeah, and I've got a fair few funny stories actually. There was one at the London Open where I think I got bronze. I can't remember what medal I got, but I had bronze medal. And there was a little kid standing near the podium, and I go to him, "Hey mate, do you mind taking a photo of me?" He's like, "Yeah, why not?" He takes a photo of me, and I come down, and I realise who it was. It's like Chow Terra, or Chow. How do you pronounce his name? He's like one of these like really like renowned black belts. And I thought,
Chagote, yeah.
I thought it was a kid. He's so small. He's like 5'4". So I was just like, "Geez, who's this guy?"
Oh man, that's a funny one.
Yeah, I've had a fair few funny stories, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope to get at purple belt, but I'm not overly bothered, and I'm kind of excited to go back to jiu-jitsu again. Train like it's not bothering me too much that we're not training. It's kind of good to get for everyone to take a step away from things to refresh yourself. And everyone's got to come back fairly rusty anyway. And I kind of felt that most people who want to take a step away can probably take a different approach to jiu-jitsu in terms of watching things online, finding different approaches, learning different things about their game, whether they play top or bottom, and stuff like that. So it's probably better for everyone else. It's probably better for me as well. I haven't really done anything jiu-jitsu related apart from yoga for BJJ. I've watched the odd few videos, but there's no point in watching the videos if you haven't got anyone to drill with, because technically you can be watching videos and then when you go back in about 2 months' time,
Just forgot.
yeah. So I'm kind of excited to go back because I'm hoping that I can start learning at a different pace again. Because if you take a step away from things, you come back into it with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
Hoping that's how it turns out. I'm sure it'll happen. What will happen is I turn up and Ramon just beats the hell out of me. Richard beats the hell out of me. Pass my guard with one hand or something. Whatever they claim. So
There's a question here for you, Grant. How do you prepare yourself before competition? Do you have a favorite routine?
No, I don't. I don't give a shit. I just turn up. What I do is I kind of just like. I try to get myself. I try to focus on like one spot and try to get myself into the attitude. And it's not about gearing myself up. I think more than anything, it's about being calm. So most of the times, I'm a little bit nervous before stepping onto the mat. But when I step on the mat, I'm really calm, and it's really like as if, geez, like what do I have to worry about? It's as if you're driving a bus and you're driving through the fog, and then as soon as you step off the bus, you get off and all of a sudden it's all clear. So it's the same principle. So it's the most difficult bit is getting through the competition, thinking about the competition, but being on the mat is it's kind of bliss more than anything, because you can't think of anything else whilst you're on that mat facing someone else in the competition. I think my first ever competition, we bumped hands, and then within 10 seconds, my mind went blank, and before I knew it, I got taken down, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So yeah, like, you know, that kind of went after about 3 competitions, and then afterwards, it just became second nature, really. You just step on the mats and then just do what you need to do.
That's it. Yeah.
But like, I don't listen to music. I don't have much of a routine. I don't eat anything in particular. I'll probably go to the toilet a few times, but no, that's how it is. I think the most nerve-wracking one I've ever done is the inter-club competition. That was probably the most nerve-wracking one because everyone else from the club is watching and you're competing against effectively your mates.
That's it.
Yeah. So before anyone, I don't think anyone remembers that, but I actually did win the blue belt in the club competition. So,
yeah.
Champion.
One goal there. That's it.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping another interclub competition sometime soon again once we all go back, and then I can reclaim the purple belt throne as well.
Yeah, now it's the purple belt one, isn't it?
Yeah, the easy one, the easy one.
How did you feel when you got your purple belt? Was it like do you feel any pressure, or you felt that you were ready for it? How was it?
I didn't know how I felt about it. I didn't really feel like I really wanted it as much because I kind of got stuck in a lull a little bit when I was a blue belt. Because I didn't like, you kind of get to a point where you realize where, you know, you start improving. You probably know where you don't really improve as much, but it's probably because everyone else is improving at the same time. So I kind of felt I was stuck in a bit of a hole. But you know, obviously people around me think otherwise, and you know, Ricardo, you know, thinks I'm a purple belt, so I must be good enough to be a purple belt. So that's the only way to think about it. But obviously, you know, you start, like, if you keep applying yourself, you're obviously going to keep improving. And of course, you know, if you get stuck in a little bit of a rut, then, you know, you always figure out different approaches to the game. So I guess that's what I must have done.
Yes, no, that's amazing, man. You're very good. Your games, I always call you the avalanche because you just come like pressure, pressure, pressure. It's just like Eddie was telling yesterday. It's the proper Nova FORÇA game. Pressure on all the time.
Well, like the thing is, I've trained with the likes of Edge. I can't remember who else. There's like a guy called Andy, who I don't think you ever saw, but he always just put me under pressure. Like loads of the bigger guys who I've always trained with always put me under pressure. So it kind of felt as if I needed to give it back to some of the other guys at the club. So, but like a lot of the time, like it's not me going aggressive. It's just trying to use the pressure and trying to get ready if I ever do compete again, so that I know what pressure I need to apply and what I need to do in order to, you know, do something, or, you know, score some points, or to get into an advantageous position. So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Being big doesn't help as well, because obviously whilst I'm applying pressure, you got all my weight behind me anyway. So
yeah, but definitely, like, it helps, because for me, I wasn't used to play with this pressure, and then when you are under pressure, you have to try to come out of the pressure before you think about attack. So it's more like when you're under pressure, you just try to ease off the pressure, and then the other guys one step ahead. So it's good that
master of pressure is Justin more than myself anyway. So if you've ever been under pressure and you've not sparred with Justin, then you've got something else coming for you.
that's it. And whispering in your ear, like you said, isn't it? Just pressure and both kind of pressure, psychological pressure and physical pressure.
Hey, the first few times I sparred with Justin, I had nightmares for like for a fortnight. I was like, what is this guy? Like, you know, he opens your guard without even doing a proper technique. Well, if you call the bastard pass a proper technique, then, you know, yeah, he'll just pass your guard and just, like, I don't know, choke you out in no time. So yeah, he's a pressure master. And like, unlucky for me, whenever I spar with Justin, he's actually really nice guy. So he always gives me some tips. You know, where I probably, you know, not applied pressure, or I've, you know, let him get away with something a bit too easily. So, you know, I like to learn from someone like Justin, even though
we have another question here. Look, who would you like to spar against, that you maybe, like, someone that you haven't sparred yet, but someone that from, like, all the jiu-jitsu fighters that you know, like, can be like even professional. And which one would you be happy to fight one day?
Oh, the person I'd like to fight.
Yeah.
I'd pick one of the guys that beat Richard Stevens in competition. He was like a little kid. The kid couldn't have been any older than 16. And I just laughed so much. And to be honest with you, I'd love to spar with him just to see Richard. I don't know why, but it was quite funny. But no, jokes aside, I don't know who I'd like to spar with. Probably Andre Galvao, because I've trolled him quite a lot on Instagram.
Yeah, he's a beast as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a beast. But I've trolled him a few times, and I put some comments under his posts about him being on steroids.
Yeah,
and I had about 70 responses in my DMs and on my notifications. So yeah.
wow, man. Yeah, and his pupil also lost the world title last year as well because of steroids, also, isn't he?
Who's that? Me?
No, he's what's his name? The guy that was training with Atos as well, that won the world championship last year. He also lost it.
I can't remember anything about Jiu-Jitsu. I haven't even kept up with that.
Forgot his name. Yeah, it's not Hook. It's the other one. But and about the pubby question. Yeah, Kainan. Yeah, Kainan Duarte is the name of the guy that lost the. Kainan Duarte is the one that lost the gold because of steroids as well. And he always trained under André Sin's purple belt. I think he went to States to train with André Galvão.
Yeah. And aspirations for the next few months in Jiu-Jitsu, if we go back. Are you going to compete again, or?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was looking forward to compete, man. To compete again on the I was even looking on the internet for the other competitions, but then everything got because for me I usually work on Saturdays, so it would be a competition that's on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it narrows a little bit because most of the competitions are on Saturdays. But then I was looking already in quite a few, but then we have to wait for it to come back now.
Oh yeah, we should do a few competitions when we go back. We'll find a few and we can go together if you want.
Yeah. I think probably now we're gonna have, because people, they don't want to lose the money, so probably gonna have more competitions compact together towards as soon as they open it again, because everybody will try to do all the competitions so they can make the money also, isn't it? So yeah. I think will be even more choice coming forward.
How have you been keeping fit over the last few weeks?
I've been doing lots of cycling with the kids and doing some body weight exercise and doing some 5K runs like once a day, just to, but nothing like Ricardo and Ramon, you know. That's just like they're gonna come back like
Mate, what you're doing is so easy. It's walk in the park, like 10 5-minute rounds. That's easy, man. I can do that in my sleep. I did to go back and beat up Ramon and Ricardo. So
and Ibran, let's go to our pub question.
No, go.
If you have the fight in the pub and you have to pick up 3 guys to help you, but cannot be Justin, then Justin, Baker, or Ricardo?
I'd pick, let me think about it. So who do we have in the club? I'd probably pick Ben Kidd, because he'd probably divert the situation altogether by cracking a joke. I'd pick Han, because he'd probably tell some of the guys about Nando's or vegan burgers. And I don't know who the last person would be, actually. I'm trying to think who else is in the club. Probably because she's a little ninja, so those are my 3 guys.
That's it, man. Oh, Ibran. Guys, do you have one? Anyone has one final question for Ibran there? So throw it there for us there. Dan has always a good question as well. And Ibran, so what would be your final words of wisdom to the Nova FORÇA crowd?
I fucking hate Nova FORÇA. Everyone knows I hate the place. Ricardo, no, I'm joking. I love everyone. The words of wisdom: just be yourself, keep learning. That's it. Easy enough. Because you cannot not be yourself. So just be yourself. Just keep trying to learn as much as you can. Feel free to ask people questions. I think that's something a lot of guys are afraid of. is asking questions. So
Oh, we have what trainers are you got on?
I don't have any trainers on, but hang on, I can show you my latest trainer purchase. Hang on. So I bought a special pair of trainers which come in a big briefcase more than anything. So yeah.
Oh man, it's made of can. Yeah.
A special box. So yeah, that's my latest trainers purchase. And
Are you,
feet on. So
are you shopping a lot over the lockdown on the internet?
not necessarily shopping a lot, but I tend to collect sneakers, and I've probably got about 60, 70 pairs or something now. So yeah, girlfriend's display. We got a spare bedroom, and most of that spare bedroom is now what we call the sneaker room. There's shoes everywhere, so it's no longer a spare bedroom.
Oh man. Oh, man.
And she's saying that 10 sneakers a week. It's probably more like 3 or 4 a week, but you know.
But you sell them as well, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, I started to sell them, and then before I knew it, I started just to collect them instead. So, yeah, I've probably started collecting them more rather than selling them more because I just became fond of collecting them, I guess. But then I used to collect a few jiu-jitsu gis as well, so I've got about 9 or 10 jiu-jitsu gis as well. So some which I no longer even wear or like. Which there's one which I bought. It was like a special gi, which is like the show your old Mars gi. So what they tried to do is have a white gi which emulated an astronaut suit, and they had like these like red ribbons around the knees. And whenever I used to spar or like do any techniques on the mat, it'd always leave these red marks. And then Ricardo came up to me one day and was like, "Ibs, you can't wear that gi anymore. It's just leaving marks everywhere." So yeah, so at one point I did collect some jiu-jitsu gis, and I've got loads of different rash guards. So yeah, I like to collect stuff.
And we have one more question here. If you practice any other sport apart of jiu-jitsu?
To improve, I just lift weights. I've started skipping as well, quite a lot, but I've had to stop skipping because we've got these concrete slabs on our balcony, and funnily enough, I've broken 2 of the slabs by just skipping. So 2 of the slabs have sunk and they've got a crack in the middle. So I think I've been eating too much and lifting too many weights during this period. So I put too much weight on, I think. So I'm cracking concrete slabs, and I'm not even joking. I can send you a picture afterwards.
Send it so we can post it there. Man.
Fatty, but I already know.
It is true, yeah.
But I have actually been breaking concrete slabs and just skipping on my balcony.
Can you imagine all this waiting on top of you, like after the quarantine? Would be that would be the real pressure.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hope so. But apart from that, I've been doing some stretching. I've been doing a few HIIT workouts. I haven't done any running just because I think it's a little bit gay more than anything. I see people running around the common where I live, and I'm just like, I don't want to look like that person running around the common. So I just stick to skipping and breaking concrete slabs.
That's a good start. That's a good start, man.
Tan is asking, have I reached 100 kilograms yet? I wouldn't know. I haven't weighed myself for about 8 months, so I'll probably easily 100 kilograms, I reckon.
So please finish the quarantine so we can go back to the training, isn't it?
I mean, by the time we eventually go back to jiu-jitsu, I'll probably be like 110 kilograms.
Oh man. Oh no, man! You guys are just getting super heavy.
I know.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you
Welcome
for your time, and I know it was difficult for us to get together, but you did it, made it, and came around. Thank you so much, man.
All right, mate.
Thank you, man. Us. Take care. Have a lovely evening.